Hi all, and welcome back to this course on unit testing with C# and XUnit. In the last video we went over what an assertion was and as well as how to assert equality. And we'll follow up on this by going over how to assert that an exception has been thrown. So we'll start by going to our account class and start to implement the exception in our withdraw function. Now, if we think about what would be a good exception to throw. And since it's a very basic bank account, we don't want to worry about the concepts of being overdrawn, which means we can add some code to say, well, if the withdrawer will put the account in a negative balance, then we'll throw an exception. So let's start by checking whether subtracting the amount from the balance will give a negative balance. And if it does, we'll throw an exception. If it doesn't, we'll continue with our transaction. So we'll set a variable which will be new amount, and that will be equal to our balance minus our amount. Then we can write an if statement to say, well, if our new amount is less than 0, amount is less than 0, then we will throw a new exception, and this exception will say not enough funds to process a transaction. And that's all we'll need for the exception. And now we'll need to go and write a test for this. I'm quickly going to just change this as well whilst we're here. Change the compound assignment. And now let's go to our account test and write the exception for this, or write the test for this. So we'll start as always by writing fact, and it's a public void, and given user attempts withdrawal, when not enough funds are in account, should exception. So we can start this again by creating a new account. Account is equal to a new account, and we'll say account dot withdraw 10. And what we now, well, actually, what we should do, thinking about it, is we actually need to write our assert and pass in the function as a part of it. So we can do assert dot throws, and there's a couple of throws. You can tell it to throw an exception when you give it an exception, or throw where you tell it the type. So if we say we're expecting a type of exception, and in here it expects an action for the code that you're testing. Now an action, we need to give it an anonymous function. So we can do into account dot withdraw 10. And now if we were to run this test here, it should pass. Now there is one more thing we can do to this to make it better, and we can set a variable equal to the outcome of this assert, and this actually will become an exception. So now we can assert as well, assert dot equals. If we go back to our account quickly and grab the message that we used, and we can now assert that the exception.message is equal to not enough funds to process the transaction. So if we run this, we'll see it passes again. I'll just get rid of that line. But we have a problem now. And it's a pretty, well, not a big problem, but if we run all the tests, you'll see that the top one should now fail, because that is also throwing an exception, because that has now got -10, and now that's not allowed. It's a functionality change. So to fix this, what we'll do is we'll go back to our account class and we'll write another function, which is just a set balance. And this is just to help us with our testing at this stage. So we can say set balance, and we will pass in decimal of amount, and we'll just say balance is equal to amount. So now if we go back to our account tests, and here we can say account.setBalance, set that equal to 20. And then we're drawing 10, so this will now change to 10. And if we rerun these tests, then we have 2 successful unit tests. And that's it for this one. I know it's very basic and very short, but thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.